Iraq. As Congress ramps up its review of foreign intelligence threats to the United States, the entire U.S. intelligence community is trying to prioritize the challenges.
i24 News senior Washington correspondent Dan Raviv spoke about those challenges recently with General Michael Hayden, former director of the National Security Agency.
Michael Hayden, you're not only a former director of the CIA and a former director of the NSA and a retired four-star general in the U.S. Air Force, but an author as well, and your book is called Playing to the Edge. What is the current state of play, assuming that we feel there's a terrorist threat, people who hate America? Yeah. What is the state of play? Are we in high danger lately?
No, we're not kind of September 10th danger. So Dan, if I graph it out here in the ether between us, this is September 10th, and then it went down steadily. And this is the interesting part. Because of the amazing consistency between two very different presidents, because of the combined efforts of President Bush and President Obama, this line went down, down, down to about 2011. Dan, watch my hand. It's gone back up. It's not back up here, but we are less safe than we were 1, 2, 3, or 4 years ago.
Is that a lack of attention by the current president?
It is the byproduct of some policy decisions, one, going to zero in Iraq, two, I think allowing the Syrian thing to go as far as it went without our trying to put our thumb on the scale.
Oh, that's mostly Obama period.
It is. No, it is.
What are you hearing from President Trump? And I do feel I need to mention that you were one of the national security professionals who, during the campaign, signed a letter that suggested that Donald Trump's unfit for the job.
Right.
Well, he has the job.
Right.
What are you seeing now, especially in keeping us safe?
So, two things I'll bring to mind, all right? One is he has amped up American participation in the fighting in Iraq and Syria. All right, we're a little more forward, rules of engagement loosened up. My critique of President Obama, right arc, but late, light, under-resourced, over-regulated. I think President Trump is kind of fixing each of those four weaknesses. It's kind of Obama plus. It's not a dramatic departure, but it is moving, I think, in the right direction. That's good.
And give some credit, because again, you had your doubts about Trump. Is it because of Defense Secretary Jim Mattis?
Right.
I mean,
right. Oh, so that's another plus. He's picked an incredibly strong cabinet, not for a New York businessman. I just mean that's an incredibly strong cabinet. So that's another plus. There are other things, not so much. I actually think the immigrant, refugee, so-called Muslim ban is just bad policy. It just makes us less safe than would otherwise be. And frankly, Dan, I think it's just a byproduct of the red meat of the campaign, and we shouldn't have done it.
So Donald Trump may feel he had to keep his campaign promises, and building the wall with Mexico from a security point of view.
From a security point of view, it's unnecessary, and it poisons our relationship with someone who should be a very good friend.
Okay, said Mexico is a friend. Okay, that's clear. We're lucky Canada's a friend too. But which nation states are the most dangerous to us, could affect our way of life, short of war? What states threaten us?
So we've got the Russians who are involved in a variety of activities, so that's one. I think the Iranian tensions in the Middle East are totally at odds with American interests in the Middle East. China is not an enemy of the United States, and it shouldn't become an enemy of the United States. But China is doing things that I think we need to counterbalance.
You didn't mention North Korea, but it is a main concern.
But I should put it in as the one that's got the rail position coming down the track.
Is the Western approach going to work, or is the leader of North Korea going to develop a nuclear bomb and a missile?
Oh yeah, he's going to do all that, and the Western approaches have not worked, period. So this is a wicked problem.
What is the state of America's intelligence community? You're still in touch with former colleagues, of course, you observe now from outside. Yeah. Are we good? Are we well funded? How are we doing?
We are good. We are well funded. Now look, if I'm still in government, I'm saying, yeah, but I need a little bit more, all right? But we are good at what we do. We are well funded. We have amazingly talented people. We do this within the rule of law. We are overseen by the most invasive parliamentary oversight on the planet. So those are all good things. But sometimes, Dan, our size gets in our way. We're not as agile as we might want to be. The cooperation among the different moving parts is never as good as you would desire it to be.
What about the patriotic spirit, or the fact that Donald Trump is such a different president?
Yeah.
People in Intel, do they loyally serve whoever?
They do. And so one of the most off-putting things about the current dialogue is this deep state meme that people keep coming back to.
Michael Hayden, author of Playing to the Edge. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thanks.
And let's bring in our Dan Raviv, senior Washington correspondent. Dan, great stuff again with General Hayden. Did you guys talk at all about whether he thinks that America is less safe or more safe given events over the past year?
Well, you might have seen his hand motions kind of up and down. You know, we were less safe around, well, obviously 9/11. That was back in the year 2001. Here we are 15 and a half years later. There have been ups and downs in his professional opinion, but recently he thinks things have gotten dangerous again. In fact, though, in many ways he's been an admirer of Barack Obama. He said that Obama made mistakes in the Middle East, making things more dangerous. He, General Hayden, though he's been a big critic of Donald Trump, gives the Trump administration some credit for maybe making things a little better, getting tougher against terrorism and other foreign challenges. But you probably heard when it comes to North Korea, nobody seems to have any solutions. David and Michelle?
Dan, on that safety issue, during that interview, Hayden said that he thought the U.S. Less safe now than 3 years ago, and he linked that back to Syria. Is he suggesting that the U.S. be more involved in the situation in Syria?
Well, there are a lot of options. He's not clearly saying which one the United States should choose. It's very hard to select which group to support. At the very beginning, we certainly didn't like Syria's President Bashar al-Assad. Now he seems to represent perhaps stability. Russia backs Assad, but so does Iran, and we don't want to be on Iran's side. A lot of this is going to be coming up this week, Wednesday and Thursday. There's a big conference here, more than 60 nations and organizations at an anti-ISIS summit. In some cases, you'll actually have the leaders of nations, usually the foreign ministers or defense ministers, coming here to talk about how to defeat ISIS, which many officials say is coming soon in Iraq and then in Syria. But then what do you do? Possibly you're going to have terrorists who are even worse, or perhaps out of the vacuum, you'll get terrorists moving into Western countries, including the United States, to stage attacks. That's a very big worry, Michelle.
All right, Dan Raviv, our senior Washington correspondent. Dan, thank you.